All right, the superstar drug bust is now a case that is spanning all of Mumbai. And I just want to quickly give you a geographical look at where this is playing out in the city of Mumbai. This is the city of Mumbai, the southern part of it. The NCB office is in this location. That's where Ananya Panday is currently being interrogated. That's where Aryan Khan was detained early on. Arthur Road Jail is not very far from the NCB office, and that is where Aryan Khan is right now. Shah Rukh Khan had met him today. Mannat is all the way up here. That's Bandra Bandstand. That's where Shah Rukh Khan's residence is, and that's where the NCB officials also went to serve notice. And that's also where some digital devices have apparently been taken from. And then you have Ananya Panday's home, which is in Car West, which is here, which is a fair distance away from the NCB office. It took a while to actually reach there. So from her residence, she went till the NCB office. So these are the four locations where this entire story is currently playing out now. Okay, so now I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you what the questions being asked to Ananya Panday actually look like. These are broad questions that India Today has been able to access through its sources. They want to give you a sense of what those actually are. The Narcotics Control Bureau, while Ananya Panday is being interrogated in this entire drug case, India Today has a list of the line of questioning that she is being subjected to. She's of course been asked, have you seen Aryan consuming drugs? That's one of the first questions because her name is cropped up in some of those chats. Who did Aryan procure drugs from? Did you consume drugs with Aryan? For how long has Aryan been allegedly consuming drugs? What kind of drugs was Aryan consuming? What kind of drugs have you ever consumed? Who are the drug suppliers? On how many occasions were drugs actually consumed in front of you? Do you remember when drugs were consumed? So this is sort of the broad line of questioning that Ananya Panday is currently being subjected to inside the Narcotics Control Bureau. Now, why has Ananya Panday been summoned in this Mumbai drug bust case? Because her name sort of appeared to crop out of nowhere. Where did this suddenly drop from? Well, the NCB says that WhatsApp chats found on Aryan's phone contained her name. Chats with Ananya have been therefore under the scanner. The Narcotics Control Bureau wants to question Ananya Panday on the nature of these chats, possibly to get more details. Remember, Ananya and Aryan have been friends for a very long time. They've been socially in touch with each other. There are many pictures of the both of them in touch with each other as well. And therefore, that's what's happening right now. Chunky Panday, the father of Ananya, who has accompanied her into, and we'll get those pictures on your screen in just a moment, has also said that they're treating this as a routine questioning of their daughter, Ananya Panday. I want to welcome onto the show. These are the pictures of Ananya Panday as she entered the Narcotics Control Bureau just a short while ago. Her father is there in the blue shirt that you see there is Chunky Panday as he arrived there. Joining me live, before we go back to our reporters in a moment, I have with me Sangeeta Wadhwani. She's author, executive editor of Hello Magazine. Sushil Shamlal Wadhwa is an entrepreneur. He's chairman and managing director of the Platinum World Group and a family friend of the Shah Rukh Khan family. Welcome to the both of you. Thanks for being with me. I want to get some opening comments first. Sangeeta, to you. You operate in a world where you interact a lot with celebrities, and I'm sure you've been watching this entire saga play out. I can imagine all the different emotions you must feel because this is a familiar world. What do you make of this? What do you make of what has happened today, Sangeeta? Aryan Khan continues to be in jail. It's going to be at least until the end of this month. And now, out of nowhere, we didn't expect it. I don't know if there were rumors of any kind, but based on WhatsApp chats now, you've got Ananya Panday being questioned by the narcos.
So very clearly, drug taking has been a part, it's a de facto part of celebrity existence.
Yeah.
The pity is when the new generation is actually just mirroring the older generation. I don't think anybody from the father, from Shah Rukh's generation, has really stayed away from narcotics. You've seen the parties going viral. You've seen parties of Karan Johar going viral, where all of them are glassy-eyed. You had earlier in the year, or last year rather, with the Sushant Singh Rajput murder case, you had the Riya Chakraborty arrest summons, and we've also had Deepika Padukone's WhatsApp chats intercepted where she's asking, Mal hai kya? It is such a blatant part of the entertainment industry. It doesn't make sense that they're picking on one Aryan Khan. Are they trying to prove themselves to be heroes that are busting the entire drug cartel that clearly has been in existence for over 20, 30 years in India? When a film like Udta Punjab was made, there were government forces in that region that wanted to suppress that movie. But Udta Punjab, ironically, is a product of the film industry. And it was raising these very same questions. A whole generation is being completely embroiled and taken in by the drug business. It's not just the actual intoxication, but the financial returns that these kids are able to obviously partake of. I think that is the bigger issue. If they really want to nail the drug issue, it is far bigger than an Aryan Khan. So just taking this child, nailing him to the wall, punishing him, treating him like a hardened criminal, putting him in Arthur Road prison, which is where you put your hardened criminals. What does it achieve? Why not use these kids to become the new spokespeople to change the narrative and say, look, guys, do not do drugs. 50% of India's college campuses today, the kids are fiddling around with some kind of party drugs. Right? That movie, Uttar Punjab, kind of revealed what that whole situation was about. There is a lot of money to be made, quick money. And the Times are putting a lot of pressure on children to get quick,
Sushil, what do you think? What do you think about it? It's been a day full of drama, Sushil. We saw images of Shah Rukh Khan, someone you know very well, arriving at the Arthur Road jail this morning to meet his son. We understand that he got about 16 to 18 minutes with Aryan, obviously with that glass panel between them, so they couldn't really meet physically, but that's the way it is inside the Arthur Road jail, which, as Sangeeta said, is a place for hardened criminals. What's the day been like? What do you make of how the manner in which this story is playing out?
I think, Shiv, you nailed it, that it is a unnecessary drama that's being created for something like this. In cases like this, bail is a norm or a given and jail is an exception. But in this case, jail is becoming a norm and bail is becoming an exception. I mean, the guy is a kid. He may have consumed or may not have consumed. Let the test prove it. He may have possession or not have possession. Let the evidence prove it. But he's just being targeted because he's a star kid is not correct, in my opinion. If he's consumed, he should be sent to rehabilitation instead of being put in with hardened criminals in a jail. You're pushing him further into the other side of midnight instead of bringing him back into the daylight. So in my opinion, all this is unnecessary. It's probably getting a lot of attention from the media, which is probably causing a lot more of these actions by the government authorities. While they think they're doing their job, and I respect that, I think they should also be going with equal energy and gusto behind the people who are supplying these drugs, who are importing these drugs or making these drugs. It's like if somebody is buying drugs, somebody is making it and selling it. So go after the maker, go after the seller. The consumer is the smallest piece in the whole chain. So why are we targeting people just because of their celebrity status and not going after the real culprits in the whole picture?
Okay.
And calling Ananya, I saw the footage online. I'm not in the country. I'm in Dubai right now.
Okay.
I saw the footage online. It is complete tamasha. There is no need to have a glass partition. They could have easily let Shah Rukh meet his son. Why can't he meet Aryan when he's going to meet after almost a 2-week gap, right? Why all the drama? Why all the tamasha? I understand, follow the procedure, but do it reasonably, do it logically. Don't do it because of
and the thing is, there are obviously rules at the Arthur Road jail which have to be followed and no exceptions can be made. But the Narcotics Control Bureau says that that there is a larger conspiracy and there is a reason and a method behind the demands that they're actually making. So here on India Today, I just want to make it clear to all of our guests and our viewers that we are reporting the proceedings. We don't, we are raising the big questions, but we also have to look at this as process, and there has to be an empathetic view as well over the way things are actually playing out, because these are young people we are talking about. The thing is, and I don't know if Sangeeta and Sushil may know this, but I'd like to tell you and our viewers that while Ananya Panday is being interrogated right now during this broadcast by the Narcotics Control Bureau, we've also learned that two more actors are apparently under the scanner. We don't know their names. The names of these two Bollywood actors have been apparently taken from Aryan Khan's WhatsApp chats. Now, WhatsApp chats themselves, the admissibility of WhatsApp chats themselves is a bit of a, debatable issue, especially with what the Supreme Court has said. But in the days to come, the Narcotics Control Bureau is expected to carry out even more searches, and drug peddlers who are questioned can be questioned again. But the biggest suspense is now on the names of these two other Bollywood actors who are under the lens of the Narcotics Bureau. Sangeeta, bit of a deja vu from last year in a sense, when we saw a long string of actors being summoned to the Narcotics Control Bureau, and now we're hearing that it's Aryan's in Arthur Road Jail, Ananya's inside the Narcotics Control Bureau office, and there are two more young actors apparently who are all set to be named and summoned.
Yes. So there seems to be an anti-Bollywood wave that we're seeing now, whether it's the police forces, whether it's the Narcotics Bureau. And one sometimes wonders who gains from all this drama. Who is the actual benefactor? Are they really trying to bust the drug cartel, or are they trying to become celebrities? That is the question. And I also see perhaps that there might be a political nuance to this. Maybe some of the actors are aligned to the correct party, some of the actors are not, and therefore they cannot protect their family members. It could also be a communal angle, because I do remember when the riots rocked Bombay.
Lots of buzz over all these theories. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, finish your points again.
Yeah. So the point is that at that point, Shobha Dey was telling Shah Rukh, why are you quiet? You had riots in the city. And he was quiet, and I suspect that he felt that because I am not a Hindu, I should not be speaking. So there has been that sense of marginalization. There has been that sense of polarization. And it's a very alarming situation. Today, as an objective viewer of this whole scenario, I'm really thinking we need to interview more people who are playing a part in this large drama. Maybe the judges need to speak up. Maybe the lawyers need to be brought to the table. What is really going on?
No, it's weird because in the initial days of this entire saga, most people in the film fraternity were pretty quiet. But that changed after 7-8 days, as you saw, Sangeeta. Lots of people actually did start speaking out. And Sushil, before I come to you, I also want to remind our viewers that apart from Shah Rukh Khan visiting Arthur Road Jail to see his son, just a few hours after that, the Narcotics Control Bureau was at Shah Rukh Khan's residence to serve a notice over there. They issued a notice to the Bollywood superstar. They asked the Shah Rukh household to turn over any electronic devices that belong to Aryan Khan for forensic testing. In these images, you can see the NCB officials handing over some documentation to Pooja Dadlani, that's the manager of Shah Rukh Khan. The team went to the reception of Shah Rukh Khan's home and handed over documents including medical evidence and other documents regarding Aryan Khan's case. Pooja Dadlani was the recipient of those documents. The narcotics agents did not meet Shah Rukh or Gauri Khan and called it a trip merely for paperwork. It was not, repeat, it was not a raid of any kind. No summons were issued. It was only a notice to hand over certain digital devices and some paperwork. And this came just after Shah Rukh Khan's meeting with his son at the Arthur Road Jail. You were talking about empathy, Sushil, when you were giving us your view on the way things have actually played out. There are so many different theories going around. Not many people have been able to figure out how the Khans are actually doing. You actually know them. How are they doing? I mean, no matter where anyone stands on the drug issue or, due process, this is going to be a nightmare for Shah Rukh and Gauri Khan. How are they doing? Can you tell us anything about that?
See, I would say anybody whose child is in custody for no clear reason, it's not an easy time for anybody, right? I'm getting calls. Yesterday, I got a call from somebody asking me that if you want, we can get this whole matter settled for an X amount of money. And I politely just declined. I said, I'm not even interested in getting into anything like that. Let the law take its own course. I believe in our constitution, in our law. And I believe that our law will do everything that is right. Obviously, there must be some situations where officers or whoever the case may be gets carried away, are over enthusiastic. They're still trying to follow the rule book, but they're probably what they're doing is causing a lot more ripples, is sort of killing the whole grain of Mumbai. Mumbai is known as a vibrant city where people socialize, people party. It is not legal to do drugs. It is not legal to do substance abuse, and I'm strictly against it. But if some people want to do it out of their own free choice and they're not harming anybody else, it is their life and their choice. They are not doing anything which is hurting anybody, killing anybody. They're doing something, they're harming themselves. And I'm sure such activities will make them realize that. But it is not fair to any parent, let alone Shah Rukh and Gauri, to be subjected to unnecessary trauma like this, in my opinion.
Okay.
Their son could easily be given bail 2 days ago, 3 days ago. There was no need for him to be just kept in jail. What are they going to achieve? You know, whatever they need, they probably already have. He's cooperating.
Yeah,
the family is cooperating. What will they achieve by keeping him in jail for another 10 days or 9 days?
And just
nothing new, in my opinion.
He's already been in jail for 2 weeks now, and it's unlikely that he'll be emerging from Arthur Road jail before the end of this month. His judicial custody has actually been extended.
Correct.
The bail hearing...
And all he did...
Yeah, the bail hearing happens next Tuesday.
All he did was attend a party.
Yeah, so the investigation...
Effectively, all he did was attend a party. He was not tested. There was no drugs found on him.
Sangeeta, go ahead.
I have a point to make on this. Apparently, he was even set up at that party. Somebody tipped off the NCB, and that's how this entire thing happened. And I believe tickets were sold on his name. This may not be something I've got factually. I've got it as hearsay.
No,
but I had a friend
the thing is, I understand what you're saying. I see. The thing is, I think the three of us, I'm sure we've all heard the many different theories and conjectures of, why this may have happened, how it may have happened, who is trying to fix who, why is this happening to the Khans, why has Aryan Khan been singled out when there are so many others? There are so many other, like Sangeeta, like you said, there are so many Bollywood stars, current Bollywood stars who are, well-known consumers of drugs who have not been targeted. So why go after this young man? What is the big message? Everybody's asking these questions, and the Narcotics Control Bureau is saying, we're not here to, send out any message. We are following due process. We got a tip-off. We are, proceeding as per the law, etc., etc. Now, here on India Today, we are asking the big questions and reporting every step of this and getting voices like yours, which are important to raise questions on how this actually plays out, because a lot of people are wondering about the empathy factor in stories like this, because these are, after all, young Indians. How are they being treated? And there are some others also, by the way, who say, why is the media covering this in such a big way? And my answer to most of them is that Shah Rukh Khan and some of the other big superstars have millions of fans and admirers in India and around the world. And there is genuine public interest in what happens with them, because these are people who are... who would drop their pots and pans to hear about Shah Rukh or his family or his son or his daughter. And therefore there is genuine interest. And this is not a frivolous story. This is a story that involves the Narcotics Control Bureau, for God's sake. So that's just a kind of disclaimer I want to give on behalf of all of the media and those sort of attacking the media like we're always attacked, sometimes justifiably. But in this case, it is a big story, and that's the reason why we will continue to cover it. Stay with me, both of you, Sangeeta and Sushil. Let's have a look at who Ananya Panday is. Ananya Panday hasn't acted in many movies, but she is hugely popular. She is the daughter of actor Chunky Panday, and she, in white, seen in those pictures, entering the Narcotics Control Bureau, is currently being interrogated by the Narcotics Control Bureau. She was just 23 when she made her big debut appearance in Student of the Year to a film produced by Karan Johar. So Ananya Panday is right now inside the Narcotics Control Bureau office, where she has been for over an hour now. She was supposed to appear at 2 p.m. She appeared finally at about 3:30 p.m. and she's inside the Narcotics Control Bureau office. These are the pictures of her from India Today's cameras. That's her in white entering the Narcotics Control Bureau office. and her father, you can see in blue, Chunky Panday, there he is walking in right after her. I want to go across now to India Today's Vidya, who joins me live from outside the NCB office. Vidya, Ananya Panday has been in for a while now. We've got that line of questioning as well. There's a great deal of curiosity. There are, word has come also from the family that they're treating this as a routine questioning as a witness. Anything more that you're hearing about this interrogation, and a lot of suspense and anticipation about those two more actors who might be summoned or questioned, Vidya?
Well, I've spoken to some of the NCB officials, and they very clearly have been saying that as of now it is not really decided whether Ananya would be a witness or an accused, because it all depends on what she really speaks, what she really tells the NCB. She could be brought in as a witness. Her statement might be used as a witness. If she really reveals much, if she does not speak, does not cooperate with the NCB, then the NCB might have to take adverse actions against her. But right now, I remember, like we had seen in Riya Chakravarti's case as well, where she was called in, for a number of days. But by the time it is sunset, because women cannot be questioned after that. So Ananya, we might actually see Ananya walking out of the NCB office at any point. But she might be called again. So it all depends. And remember, it's just since 3:30 to 6, it's just been a few hours of questioning that the NCB would have managed now. So certainly they would need her custody, some more questioning that would be needed for her. That's the reason they'll call her again. And it will all depend on the way she speaks, tells the NCB, that they will decide the next course of action.
Ananya Panday's family obviously will be assembling a legal team as well to take things forward in case things escalate from here on. Vidya, thank you very much for getting us that update from the Narcotics Control Bureau. Not far away from the Narcotics Control Bureau is the Arthur Road Jail, where this morning this entire saga began with these images of Shah Rukh Khan arriving. Late last night, the rules in the jail were changed from video calling to in-person meeting by the families of inmates of the jail. And Shah Rukh Khan was one of the first to arrive early in the morning. He greeted his well-wishers inside the jail, and he finally managed to get 18 minutes with his son Aryan, the first physical meeting with his son since this entire saga began on October the 3rd. Take a look at this report. An anguished father, desperate to meet his son, even if for just a few minutes. The Shah Rukh Khan outside Arthur Road Jail wasn't a superstar, but a worried dad meeting his son after 3 full weeks. Refusing to speak on his son's arrest, Shah Rukh was seen swiftly going into the jail and then emerging, only briefly acknowledging well-wishers and fans at the jail. Shah Rukh Khan was allowed to visit his son Aryan Khan for 18 minutes at the inmate meeting section of the Arthur Road Jail. Shah Rukh and Aryan were separated by a glass panel and spoke through an intercom, as is the norm for all inmates. Jail officials were also present during the meeting. According to the jail manual, during meetings, relatives and inmates can see each other but cannot physically touch. Shah Rukh tried to help his son, who's reportedly struggling with prison food. Shah Rukh reportedly asked jail officials if he can provide food from Mannat for Aryan, to which the jail staff informed him they would need permission from the court. This was Shah Rukh's first public appearance, his first outing from Mannat since October the 2nd, and his first meeting with Aryan since the beginning of the entire drug bust saga. While the father-son duo have spoken over the phone and even done video calls, Shah Rukh and Gauri haven't had a chance to meet Aryan before this. Shah Rukh Khan hasn't offered any comments so far on his son's arrest in the drug case, but has stood rock solid behind Aryan. The moment in-person visits were allowed at the Arthur Road Jail, Shah Rukh visited his son, even if it meant seeing him for only a few minutes. Mannat will be ringing with prayers that Aryan returns home before Diwali. With Mustafa Sheikh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today. Now, Aryan Khan has been a bit of a recluse. He isn't someone who embraces the limelight very much, but there have been occasions when he's either been in the public eye or been spotted with his parents. Our Entertainment Bureau puts together this story of the Aryan Shah Rukh bond. And it's clearly been Bollywood season for India's enforcement agency.